Hi everyone. Today we'll be working on a blanket cape. They were very nice, actually it's just a 4 feet by 3 feet blanket looking thing, and with a split in one side on the front, so you could drape it over your shoulders. You can put a belt. It looks very trendy with jeans and tall boots. So anyway, I was thinking of recreating this blanket cape with all the leftover threads that I have, all the leftover yarn. I have quite a bit, but so this is my plan. I've sort of, okay, can you see that or not? Let me see whether I can adjust it a bit. Okay, there. This is the drawing of what I intend to do with the cape. We'll be working two on the 50 peg loom, the one that can do 18 inches the width, because we have to do 18 inches, but we work them for 48 inches. So we work it on the 50 peg loom, and this is more or less the color scheme that I'm going to have. Let me see whether you can see that clearly. Okay, let's look at one panel first. Okay, here we'll start off with of course, you can pick whatever colors that you want, you see. So this is my plan, which you can see. I've put the figures here. This figure here, there. That one is the number of inches that you have to work. And the pegs are written on as pegs, there you can see. 30 pegs, 12 pegs, 8 pegs, And that will give you 50 pegs. You see, 12 and 8 is 20, 20 and 30 is 50 pegs. So this is one panel, then this is the other panel. So we work them in Intarsia. You have to work Intarsia because you'll be changing colors. And the only way to change colors as you're working like here is the technique called Intarsia. So we'll be using Intarsia and working two panels, and hopefully we come up with a nice blanket cape. Well, I don't know how long, whether this trend is going to be last for very long, but I thought, using up all the yarn that I had and making something quite trendy, and it looks kind of nice actually. Those models look great in it anyway. I forgot to mention that after you finish doing these two panels, you join them up only up to the 29 inch, That means for 19 inches only you join, and this 29 inch you leave it open. So what we'll be doing is that while we are working, we will have to do two purls on the edges, because I'm going to work everything in twisted stocking net. Since we're already changing colors and using the Intarsia, I don't want to make the stitch so complicated. And also on this side also we'll have to work the two purl. So there'll be two purl here, so that it'll not curl up once we start doing. And we'll use the bottom here, we'll have a garter stitch, so that the bottom and the top, it'll end also in garter stitch, so that these parts all will not curl once you finish it. Then you join them up along the side here, and this is the part that is going to be split. It's not going to be joined. I've written 29 inches there. That part from there all the way up to here is not joined. That's the part you drape over your shoulders. When you're working this, when you finish it, on the either one on this side or on this side, you can actually add a monogram, of your name by using the duplicate stitch, I think it's called, where you just trace the knit stitches in those kind of blocks, of the one that they use for cross stitch and all that. Make it big, and you can put it either on the maroon side or on the cream, depending on whatever colors you're using. If you're interested in monogramming this blanket cape, that part also can be done. We'll work only half of this panel, the 29 inch first. For the panel itself is quite long, all the way up to here, but we'll work only the first part so that you can get the measurements as we go along. And this is the other panel, but we won't be working it right now. We'll only work this panel. Now this panel, you start, the pegs in red are for the round loom. The one in pencil is for the long loom. You will work, the first color is dark blue. It's a gold and dark blue yarn. Now from the bottom, you cast on all the pegs. If it is the long loom, it will be 50 pegs, and if it is the round loom, it will be 41 pegs. You work it for 3 inches. Now here you have to do the garter stitch. You do the garter stitch for 5 rows, and that will be 1 row of purl and 1 row of knit. You repeat 1 row purl, 1 row knit for 5 rows. After that, you work it for the 3 inches. The 3 inches will include the garter stitch. When you finish that, now when you finish that, you cast on in maroon for 25 pegs. You cast on. Then we will do the intarsia here. We will twist the thread and introduce a new color, the cream, and then again that will be worked for 10 pegs if it is the round loom and 12 pegs if it is the long loom. And then we will change the color again and bring back this maroon for another 8 pegs for the long and 6 pegs for the round loom. Now as we work, this one will be worked for the rest of it and for the rest of the 26 inches. Whereas this, when it reaches here, that is at the 13-inch point, one part of it will continue on, but there will be another color change to black, and you will work this for 22 pegs if you are using the long loom and 18 pegs if you are using the round loom. This one will have a number of 7 pegs if it is a round and 8 pegs if it is the long loom. This is 8 pegs. You'll be working 8 pegs and 22 pegs, that will give you 30 pegs. And here you will work 12 and 8, that will give you 20 pegs here, and 30 pegs here, that will give you a total of 50 pegs for the whole width of the loom. That will give you the width of this panel. So this is the first part. We will only work this part first, then later we will come back in it. Let's start off. We will cast off on this, all the pegs. That means from here, you work it from here all the way around, and then you stop here, and then you go back again. All right? You do 5 rows. The first row, the cast on, then you do 1 row of knit, twisted stocking net, that is. And then you do a purl row, then a knit row, a purl row, and then you can start the pattern. Hopefully that should be enough. Let me have a look at it. If it isn't enough, then you do 3 rows of purls. That means you do 6 rows in all for your garter, the garter stitch border. That will prevent the whole thing from rolling. So let's start. We'll do the adjustable knot as always. And then you put it on your first peg. We're going to do the E-wrap cast on. I find that very fast, so I usually do that one. Later on, when I'm showing you the Intarsia technique, you have to keep the balls of yarn separate. Don't let them get entangled. So you keep them in either small plastic bags like this. You can put them in plastic bags, or you can put them in the bags that they come in. They have some of these Ziploc kind of baggies that they come in. You can. Oh God, my thread got caught in between the chair. Nice job. Okay, I didn't pull on it. That would have been a disaster. Alright, so what you do basically is, what was I saying? God, I'm growing old. I can't even remember what I said 5 seconds ago. The balls of yarn, try to keep them separate, because once you start working this Intarsia and you're switching colors here, if you have them all outside, I'll guarantee you will have a terrible snaggled mess in the end. You won't be able to get free of them, because it's inevitable. You are twisting the thread, they will start getting snagged up. All right, now we are here. Now we go back. I always forget how to do this part here. Oh, where's my tool? Oh, there. I have to keep checking whether I'm. That's why my voice keeps going in and out, because I'm checking whether I'm off camera or not. I keep on doing that, Terrible behavior, terrible mistake I make. It's because my camera is always in a different position every time I do it, because I keep on pushing the holder, the holder away, and I move it here and there, and so it keeps on going off in different directions. We're doing the cast on row. This particular thread is quite thick, so some of the others I may actually have to use 2 strands, to get it to be able to be used on this loom, and also to give some consistency with the other yarn that we are using. But I'll be mixing and matching yarn, so not all my yarn will be the same. I don't really know what kind of effect it's going to give to the overall piece. Maybe it'll become kind of ugly, who knows. Well, experiment. That is the forte of human discovery, to experiment. See? No matter how many times I do this, I always forget, which direction I'm supposed to turn the yarn. I can't really blame all that on old age, I'm just naturally forgetful. Okay, after you finish this row, you do another row of E-wrap. Same thing you're doing now. After you finish that, you come back and do a row of purl. So we do the garter stitch, and then we'll come back and I'll show you after we have done this one. You have to do 3 inches, the dark blue thread. We'll come back. Okay, now it's exactly 3 inches. See how flat it lies? That's because of the garter stitch here. You can see the garter stitch, I've done here, garter stitch. Then after that is all the twisted stocking net. I know it's a bit difficult to see because of the fact that it is very dark, this blue, Now, when you 25 pegs, so for 25 pegs you work this. Then we'll come to our first intarsia after that. First peg. This will be a bit loose. Try and pull it here so that it doesn't have that problem. Okay, the first part that we'll be working on is here. And like I showed you earlier, tried to tell you about, the first part that we did was here, these 3 inches, which we have already done in dark blue. Now we are working this first part. If you're using the long loom, do it 30 pegs. If it's the round loom, it's 25 pegs. I have a problem because this yarn is not thick enough, you see, so I had to use 2 strands to match it to this blue. But working 2 strands, perhaps I should put it in 2 different bags. Okay, now we continue this for 25 pegs. 1 2 3 4 5. We're just doing twisted stocking net, so I'm going to just E-wrap and knit them, nothing complicated. Okay, so now that we have counted, made sure that 1 2 3 4. Alright, now we'll introduce the first Intarsia. This one is quite thick, this thread, you know, it's a 12 ply, Australian 12 ply, which uses 5.5 to 6 millimeter, which is, this one uses 6 millimeter. So it's almost the same gauge, you know, these two. So that's not a problem. You don't have to use two strands like I'm doing with this maroon. This maroon is very dark. It's more darkish, brownish kind of maroon. Now, you put it here like this. Hope you can see that. Alright, here you put it here, the strand. Then when you go to wrap the next peg, this one, the thread that you're going to use, make sure that you make it go under the maroon, and then you wrap these. See, that way this will get caught in between. That's how you prevent the hole from appearing in the work. So now you just see, now you've locked it in place. You see, this part here will no longer, there will be no longer a hole. If you don't bring this and put it in between the next thread that you are bringing into a pattern like this, what will happen is there will be a gaping hole here, you know. So your work will look absolutely horrible. So remember to do that whenever you change colors. This color is to be worked for 10 pegs for the round loom, the 41 peg round loom, and 12 pegs for the long loom. Keep working it. Now we have to change color again. This time, according to the pattern, we worked 25 pegs in the maroon, then 10 pegs in the cream, back to the maroon for 6 pegs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this time another 2 threads, and not the same one that you used here. This you have to bring another couple of threads in. Okay, so you make the adjustable knot again. Too short. Hang on. This work is going to be a bit, you have to have a little bit of patience because at moments you might get your thread all a bit snagged up and everything. So, but you must have a lot of patience to work with many colors, you know, because it can get confusing. Now, what you do is you place it on the next peg here. And again, you do the same thing. The thread that you're going to work, this one, you bring it under the cream and work it. So again, you get that caught up in between the This is slightly more complicated than the one that I did for the wrap, you know, the Intarsia wrap, because that one only involved 2 colors, you know. This one is going to involve many colors. So you have to be very patient and careful with what you're doing when you work it, you know. Now you just work the colors, twisting it each time, you know, making sure that it goes under. I'll show you in a moment. And don't forget to do the pearl for the ends. And knit. And this last one you purl so that it doesn't curl the ends there. Alright, I know this looks a bit difficult, but it isn't, you know. You just have to keep your mind a bit don't get confused about it. Try and work it step by step. See, because there is a change here and a change here that will give you the long This is the part that will have the long bit of the dark maroon worked. Then you have the small bit of cream coming from here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 pegs. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6 pegs which are worked in dark maroon. Now we go back and I'll show you how to switch the colors here. I'm only just doing E-wrap and twisted stocking net. So don't worry if you can't see what stitch I'm doing. I'll show you how to do the Intarsia part carefully. Okay. Okay, we've reached the first part where you have to do the Intarsia. We have now got to switch over to the cream. Same thing. When you are going to wind the thread, this is the thread that you're using. Make sure that the other thread is underneath it. So here like this one goes. Hang on. Yeah. Make sure it's caught up in the part where you're changing, and then you work your stitch. Back here again. Now you have to switch back to the maroon again. I'm using 2 balls here and then another 2 balls here, so that's altogether 5 balls that are being worked at the same time on one row. Alright, you see here, this will be twisted here, you know. Can you see that? This is caught up in the thing, so that's how you get the twist. And as you work, there will be a line of twist going along. Okay, now same thing. This is here. Now you're going to have to work with this thread. Take it off properly. It's getting caught everywhere. Alright, now same thing. Cross. Make sure that the cream thread is here. Crossing, you cross with it in the center and then you do the stitch. Okay, now we are back to the point where you have come back from the side there when we finished just now with the pearl. Now we're back again here. Now we have to do the cross again. Now this is the thread that you're going to be working with, you know, the cream now. You just finished with the maroon. And dark maroon. What you do is make it go under the maroon and then you twist your E-wrap. This is not thread, this is just a leftover, and then you continue the stitches. If you want to do complicated nice block patterns like this, they will take a little bit of effort, you know, and patience. You have to do that. And remind you, always if you want to stop, make it on a return row, because the first row that you do, you will tangle up all the threads, you know, but when you come back again, the thread will be no longer tangled. They will separate from each other. See, now this is no longer tangled because I've come back now. So this is by itself now separate. It's not tangled with the cream colored thread. Now do the next one. This one also coming and spoiling everything. Okay, here it is. This is here. Again, same thing. Make sure you bring it under the cream and then you cross it. So you stop on this row if you want to take a break, you know. Always on the return row. Just now we did one row where we crossed it and then we came back crossing again. And this is the row that you should stop on. Otherwise all the thread will be tangled up, you know. Okay, there. Now the one that I'm talking about is this crisscross here, you know. It will appear. And so that when you look at it here, you see it's a smooth shift from one color to the other. See, smooth shift from one color to the other. There's no hole in between. As you work and go down, you will see it. Now, keep on doing these color changes and the crisscrossing as you every time you change colors. Now, I'm sorry about this, but I realized something as I was looking at this pattern that I had done, that there was a straight line here, you know, earlier when I had done it, and so that it looked too uniform, you know. Cannot have that, you know, because then after when you wear it, there will be one part where there will be a straight line, you know, and it won't look nice, you know, because the colors will be changing exactly, you know. So what I've done is I've lowered this to here and I put it down by 2 inches. So there will be a funny kind of finish here, you know, kind of not even sure what kind of pattern this is, but anyway, these blocks, you see. So this one will end before the 2 inches. So when you change the color here, around here you will no longer be handling 4 colors. Okay, so I did it both on both sides, you know, but since I'll be reversing the order, so it won't really matter. But just, you know, just so that you know how the pattern is. We've come to the part where we have to add in the mustard here. So we work the maroon for 7 stitches, then using the same method that we introduced when we put in the cream and then the maroon, the same way after 7 pegs you add in the mustard. I'll show this to you now. So now we're working this in this direction. Now it's supposed to be 7 pegs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. So now we introduce the mustard. Under this, we put it here. Then we go with the thread in between, the maroon, we wrap the next peg. And that is how you have introduced the new color, which you will work for the rest of the row until you continue with the cream, crisscrossing like we have been doing earlier. See, this is how the back will look, you know, as you crisscross the. Every time there's a color change, you trap the old yarn under the new yarn that you're putting in. See the front? See, there's no hole and it's a very smooth transition from one color to the other, as you can see. So you continue with this. So now we'll be juggling 4 colors instead of 3. Can get a bit more tangly mess. Just be careful and don't, when you're doing, always be mindful of the different strands that you're using so that you don't get it all muddled up. There. Okay, now we've come to the cream. You work the cream. The cream is here. Same thing. Trap the mustard. Work the cream. Okay. Keep doing this and follow the color changes and finish the panel, and then do the other panel. Then we'll come back and I'll show you how to join it. When you come to this part here, because of that little bridge like thing here, make sure that when you do the color changes for the salmon pink and the brown, that you start from this side, so that you can knit up to the point where you change the brown. Otherwise, if you start from here, you put in the salmon pink and then you put the brown, you will have this whole gap here, because the thread would have ended here, because your last row with the mustard here would have been up to here, so the thread that at the point where you're supposed to switch colors would have ended here, you see. So there will be this whole gap here, so make sure that you start the row from this side and then you work it down. Make sure you end with the sea green ending at the end here, not with the thread hanging here in the center. That means it's not on a return row in this direction, but on the row that you're going in this way. You can't have, because if you start from here, you will have the gap and where you have to redo the thing, which unfortunately I've done it that way. You see what I've done is that I've added in the salmon pink here. That's why I noticed the mistake I've made. You see, I've added in the salmon pink and then I've put in the brown, and then I've got all these open thing before the thread is, you see. So I'm going to have to redo one here and then until I reach here and then go back. So of course it's going to look a bit different, but that's why I'm advising you, when you're doing this row, end it here and then make the color changes with the sea green thread ended here. And then of course, because the sea green continues, you see. I just wanted to show you, as a result of the mistake that I made where I had to go back one row, you can actually see the hole here, there, here. Well, it's a small hole because there's an additional row of 4 where when I went back on these stitches, so that I could bring back the thread that was on the wrong side, So that's why I said you have to end it, when you do it, end it on this side of the, when you start off the color change for the 2 colors, make sure that you end it on the right side. Where is the piece of paper? Yeah, here. You see, the salmon pink and the brown, then this part here. I had to redo this part here, so I have an extra row here, you see. That's what this is all about. That bit there that I showed you. There. Can you see that? There's a bit of a hole. There's an extra row there, But it won't be so noticeable, I know. So if you want to really avoid what I've done, so you're going to have to do it the correct way by ending the row that you're going to be changing these colors here. Then you come back with the sea green, continue on to here, and then change to the brown and then to the salmon pink. I just wanted to point out that I made a mistake, I did say that you were supposed to purl 2 towards the end of every row, and instead on this one, the one that I did previously, I only purled 1, and so it's slightly curling. In fact, it is curling quite badly. But this one, I have done the purl 2 here, as you can see, it is flat and it's not curling. So when you're doing this pattern, please remember to do the curl 2. Don't forget that. Then the other thing I wanted to say was that this one, you see, when you look at this, let me just get this put on the floor so that you can see. No, I think you can see it here. Now let's see whether you can see the whole thing. See the colors, the one at the back will be these colors, you know. This will be what will be at the back, and the front will be like this. The front will have a different look, you know. So you know it's looking more like a patchwork thing rather than and this one is the other panel. My other panel is in grey, brown and black, and so I don't know whether we're going to have something that's going to look good or not. Maybe I'm going to fail miserably. We'll see. Okay, here is the finished panels. I've laid them side by side. Now you can take it and place it in whichever direction you want to gain whichever effect you want with these color blocks. Now the front, I'm having this in the front so that I can place my monogram here on this larger piece here, you know. I'll place the monogram here. Now you take a tapestry needle or crochet needle and join up these from here to here, leaving a gap of 29 inches. This will be the 29 inch that will be in the front. This part of the blanket cape is in the front, that part there, you know. That will be the front of the cape, and this will be the back of the cape. Okay, now after you finish joining, take a needle, a tapestry needle and get a contrasting shade, you know. It has to be very apparent to do the blanket stitch. Now the blanket stitch is done, if you look, the finished product has got a blanket stitch, you know, all along the edges, including the opening, and you go round. So you can do the blanket stitch and finish it, or alternatively you can take a crochet needle, a thick crochet needle with one thread that is contrasting. In this case I would be using cream, and you work all along one row of single crochet. Working one row of single crochet will give the same effect as a blanket stitch would to this, so that it look more like a blanket that you put together when you finish it, you know. Because I ran out of the salmon pink, I had to use all dark grey here, so that's why the final panels look a bit different. I hope you can see them clearly now. Okay, that's the top, and this is the bottom. I mean, just in case you want to follow the same pattern. Okay, I wanted to show you, first of all, I'll show you how to do the edges. When I told you just now that you have to do the blanket stitch to do the edges. So first I'll show you the blanket stitch as it's normally done with a needle and thread. To show you how the blanket stitch is, so let's do it first. I'll show it to you in the normal way how you would do it. Then after that, alright, now I wanted to show you how to do the blanket stitch. We'll start in one corner and then we will work ourselves back there. I don't know whether I should start in the center or in the corner. I've joined everything up. Maybe it's better to start from here, then we go round and then come back. Okay, we'll start it here. I'll show you how to do the blanket stitch. Now, if you do it with the needle and thread, this is how you do it, okay? You put it in through the first stitch here. Be a long piece that was left here. You'll actually have to cut it, you know. So estimate how much you want and then you keep on coming. You go through the loop like that. The first stitch is done. Then you do the next stitch, go a certain distance away from the thing, and do the same thing, go through the loop back again. This is a blanket stitch. You keep doing that. Because you'll have to take a longer thread. I'm just demonstrating, because I rather do the way that they do it on the felt blanket. They use single crochet. See, can you see that? This is a blanket stitch, and you have to do it all along the side. You keep doing it. It's a very simple stitch, there's nothing very complicated about it. If you can't follow what I'm doing, just check up the YouTube for blanket stitch there. Okay, but I'm going to do it using single crochet. Now first you make your knot, then you put it in through the first loop that you are doing, because you have to go around the whole thing and then come back here again anyway. You'll be doing only one row. Lock it in place, chain 1. Now just do a single crochet like that. Chain 1, make it very loose. Chain 1, don't forget the chain 1. The chain 1 is to move it, so that it doesn't become too tight. Chain 1, single crochet there. See, can you see that? It's got the same effect as the blanket stitch. I prefer this actually to the blanket stitch. I think it looks nicer. Remember to use a contrasting thread. Always remember that. Chain 1, go in, grab the yarn over, pull through both. Chain 1, go in, pull, yarn over, chain 1, yarn over, pull through both. Okay, hope that's clear. Make sure you do everything and then you come back and end it here in the last stitch here. I wanted to show you the corner. When you reach the corner, make the stitches a bit closer so that you can have a rounded corner. So you pick the one right next to it, not the one after it, So you do extra stitches in the corner so that you get the rounded look. I'm using a size 6 millimeter, I think it's 6 millimeter crochet hook, and I'm using 2 strands of yarn that is 4 millimeter. That means it uses a 4 millimeter crochet hook or knitting needle, and I'm using 2 strands of those to do this edging, I'm coming to a corner, so I thought I'd show you how to do it, So remember, you have to chain 1, work the next, pick up, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. Okay, now here's the corner. Instead of going straight into this part, you go into this corner here. And then you work the next stitch. Did I remember to chain 1? No. Chain 1. Okay, then work the next one. Chain 1. Okay, see? That's how you get the rounded corner. You finish, when you come back here with the single crochet chain 1, you join it back to the first one that you did, then you weave in the ends, and then you will have finished with this.